All right. So, good morning, gentlemen. And yeah, I'm doing a video from in the house because it is windy outdoor. Chimes are going crazy. Kind of humid. Uh, yeah, it's just not a good day to do one outdoors. I wanted to have a fire here after Thanksgiving, by the way, for all the American folk out there. Happy Thanksgiving. Belated. Anyway, getting on the computer this morning, I see everybody's plaguing me with this, what is it, hashtag thought audit. And I figured I'd weigh in on this, you know, because it seems like a lot of people are one-sided, you know, rubbing their hands together, just ha ha ha, you know, these bitches are getting it, and you know, in a way, I guess, you know, I could see that mindset, but you know, you gotta get a little bit of reality to the situation too. A lot of these girls that are doing it are probably in their prime, and you know, I mean, a female's prime is what, from 14 to, you know, around 25 to 30, you know, if they're fairly good looking anyway, you know, of course, if they're fat or ugly or whatever, then, you know, the prime goes down, sexual market value, of course, you know. So anyway, the girls that are, you know, pretty enough to pull this off, you know, I guess you can't blame them because they've got a very short window to do this in. Now, you know, it amazes me that there are men out there dumb enough to pay for this kind of shit, to begin with. I mean, the internet is full of free porn. Not that I would know anything about that, but you know, it staggers the imagination. Anything you know, Pornhub, X something or I mean, God Almighty, thousands upon thousands of free videos of all the, you know, hot-looking women you want to see and crazy sex acts and you know, anything like that. So, okay, fine. So they found themselves suckers that are willing to pay for it, right? Joey, hey, I'm talking. Sorry about that. I've got a mouthy old boy here today. Yeah, I do. All right. So anyway, here's the thing. You know, they found suckers that are going to pay for it. They're using them, and they're making money. They're not reporting it to the IRS. Okay, now, somebody, I take it, reported them, or a person, or multiple, from what I gather, and I don't know any of these people involved. And I just thought, you know, yeah, let me plague you with it too, by giving my opinion. And as you know, I'm not doing this for views or anything. I don't make money on this channel. I never have. I never will. I don't e-beg. I don't do this for that reason. Okay, this is not expensive. I don't care how anybody tells you that it is. And you know, I don't go much into editing and overdoing it. You know, and even if they were to monetize me, which I doubt just due to my language, that, you know, $1 for 1,000 views, God almighty, man. I mean, yeah, you make it into a job yourself. All right, get back to the hashtag thought audit, okay? Look, here's the thing. I know in my past, I have done side jobs that I've gotten paid cash for, and you know, yeah, I didn't claim it. It wasn't that much. I have, as a teenager, worked under the table, what we used to call working under the table, for cash money, because if the job had paid regular money and they took taxes out on it, you'd have nothing left except to pay for your gas to get to and from the job, which is lunacy. So I have done it in the past, and I also have worked my entire adult life and made I'd say, relatively good money, and I've paid a third of my paycheck, in taxes every time. So, and I did, that for damn near 40 years. So, or 45, I forget. Anyway, all my work, 45 years, I guess. So, I have paid a lot of taxes. I don't like the IRS and I don't like the Fed. There's no need for the IRS to exist if the Fed didn't exist. So that's beside the point, and that's a whole other argument that people can get into. But I'm not a great lover of the tax system and how the government uses the money and spends it and all of that. So, getting back to these girls, which are, if they're, from what I heard, not all of them, I mean, if they're making 20 grand a year or even 30 grand a year, that's damn close to poverty. If you started paying taxes on that, that would be in the poverty level. So, the thing is, the rule of thumb is, and always has been, I think, is unless you're making six figures, over 100,000 a year, that shut up. Because to go legit, to pay taxes on everything, is you're not making any money after that. It's just a lot of headache. Now, if you're making over six figures, and that does become a business at that point. So what these girls and anybody really making that kind of money, that's not a side job anymore. That's a business, and it should be permitted as a business or incorporated, which is probably the best way to go about it, to incorporate. And then you can take your tax deductions. If they're doing it out of their house, they can deduct part of that. Even if they're paying rent. I mean, there's overhead costs. There's a lot of deductions as a business you can take. The smart person would say, all right, let me go ahead and pay my business. Now, you have got 5 years to show a profit in business. 5 or 7, I can't remember now. If you have write-offs, expenses, equipment, anything else that you can write off, then you're pretty much keeping most of your money, but you are going to have to do a little bit more work. You're going to have to do the paperwork. You're going to have to, get certain permits, licensing, and not that many for videos or pictures, I would assume, but in my business, in the mechanical field, of course, I was overloaded with permits and EPA and, city, state, federal, all those things, and I was incorporated. And, you're not building up your, when you're in business yourself and you pay yourself, instead of taking a draw from the money you put into the business, then you're not paying into your Social Security, you're not actually paying any taxes in. So if you ever need to get a loan, let's say for a house or for a car or anything else, you have unverified income at that point. So you got to be careful with business, and if you do pay yourself, then you've got to pay double the Social Security, which your employer would normally pay. So that cuts into your profits too. Which is the reason most people say, look, if it's, under six figures, shut up. Which, that's not the way the IRS would look at it, of course, but let's be realistic here. If every business, especially a small one, which gets hammered, we don't get the tax breaks Walmart gets, and property, all these things, we don't have lawyers. Small businesses, all of them, if they get a chance here and there to take a little bit of cash in, not put it on the books, it happens. That's a fact of life. It happens. Now, I'm not saying this is what you should do, and I'm not saying this is what I did, but it's pretty much known. So, all right, these girls are doing this, and you know, that somebody reported them. Here's the other flip side of this coin. That I hate rats. I really do. I hate a fucking rat. Anybody that rats somebody out, anybody that doxes anybody, anybody that tries to get somebody to lose their job because they don't agree with their opinion about whatever it may be. You know, feminism, politics, good grief, people are in here talking about bike clubs and getting into it on the internet. I mean, YouTube's a nut house. So, I don't believe in rats. I hate them with a passion. So, saying, well, it's your civic duty to report somebody, that's a lame excuse. It really is. And I know it does affect people when other people don't pay into the system. It affects all of us to a degree. And, the IRS is well aware of this, and, they're between kind of they're working for the Fed, pretty much. And they're like your mafia guys that walk into your little shop and say, hey, look, you owe us a couple grand for protection every month or your place will burn down. That's pretty much what the IRS is, except they're threatening to take your shit instead of burning it and throwing you in jail. So, it is a tricky subject to talk about, but I think when it all comes down to it, I don't like a rat. Man, my worst enemy, if I had a beef with him, I'd take care of it personally. I would not have somebody do my dirty work for me. And barring that, I would just, hey, it isn't worth it. It's let the cards fall where they will. Karma catches up with everybody eventually. So trust me on that one. I do know that because karma's caught up with me a couple times. So it's right now the trending thing, I guess. I had in mind to do a different video, and I know I've been slacking off on doing videos. I've just been worn out after the summer, and I'm trying to find my groove again. But I did want to make a different video that had a little bit more texture to it than what's trending, which I don't normally follow the trending stuff, but I just wanted to kind of touch on it that, look, if these women were smart, they would do it legitimately in a business and then take the write-offs, take a little bit of hidden money, play the game and play it smart. But I guess, if you're pretty, then you don't have to rely on your brains, right? I don't know. Is that the way it works? Tell me. It seems to be, it doesn't look like a lot of these chicks are making the brightest move, and they think they're getting away with something. And it has bitten them in the ass, and I just, for some reason, have a bad feeling about this, in my gut about ratting people out, no matter how much you disagree with them or dislike them. I just prefer to, continue to mind my own business as much as humanly possible, enjoy my life, and let others do what they want to do as long as it doesn't interfere with me. So, once it interferes with me personally and, and I've got any control over the situation, then I'll do what needs to be done. Other than that, this is just all an academic mental gymnastic exercise on who's right, who's wrong, who do you hate more? Do you hate women more? Do you hate the government more? Come on, let's get real here. you know, everybody's out to get you, even other men, you know, or you know, corporations. Everybody is a potential enemy. So, and that goes across the board. So I can't really point fingers here, but again, like I said, I don't like a rat, and you know, snitches and shit like that. It's just never been acceptable in my past or my lifestyle that I lived. Now things have changed, and I'm not in the know anymore. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I thought I'd share the video, do one to just get it out there again, and then I got faster internet too, so maybe my upload speed will be better. That'll be nice. And other than that, yeah, nothing much going on, gentlemen. I'll make the other video I had in mind once I think it through a little bit more now. And maybe later on, after I've had a beer, I'll go ahead and start that video. So there's my thoughts, and I wish you all a good day, gentlemen.